morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here today and for your leadership in providing young people with opportunities to play, learn, serve, and work in the outdoors. I am Jay Carter, a Student Conservation Association member with the National Park Every Kid in the Park initiative. Currently, I am working with the City of Pittsburgh Park Ranger Corps at Riverview Park. My job as a ranger is to educate visitors about our park resources and history, and to promote a safe and fun place for folks to explore. Let me begin by sharing with you all a short story about my introduction into the park. Once upon a time, while walking in the woods, I came upon a tree with falling leaves. Something about the way it swayed gave me shivers down my spine. I knew those leaves weren't falling for no reason. As I got closer, I couldn't believe my eyes. A huge black bear sat at the base of the tree, rubbing its back against the bark. Not sure if it spotted me or not, I was frightened. I cut my hand over my mouth and tried to remain calm. It felt like a dream until I heard a voice in the distance calling my name. Suddenly the bear ran off, and that was the beginning of my SCA experience in the outdoors. It certainly would not be my last outdoor experience. I would go on spending the next 11 years working with SCA, defining what conservation meant to me. In 2009, I traveled to Maui, Hawaii to build trails along Haleakala National Park. There I saw the Pacific Ocean and witnessed the first time the Milky Way. Later I was asked to map trails in Alaska for the BLM. My outdoor experiences went from the inner city streets to rainforests, deserts, and snow-capped mountaintops. A series of what most people would consider completely surreal moments. I didn't fully understand the geology or history of these parks, but I understood the power in these lands. The magnificent sceneries healed my soul and taught me about the importance of wildlife and how vital education is to understand what our own backyards and why we should protect and preserve and promote the places we call the great outdoors. For me, growing up in Hazelwood, Pennsylvania was challenging, but I always believed that we, the people, including me, could change our community if we believe and work together. These experiences drove me to learn what conservation truly meant. I began by volunteering at my local community center, picking up trash. Soon I entered the city council building to persuade a councilman to hire me. I remember him telling me to go home and to get some references. I thought that meant having my mom call him, so I told my mom to do so, as well as half of the neighborhood. Somehow I got the internship and quickly learned that I needed to read more and ask more questions to understand the terminologies and dialogues they were having. I listened in on a lot of interesting debates. I recognized this was an opportunity to demonstrate to my councilman that my community needed help and that I was going to play a role in fixing a place I called home. Whether you are a politician or conservationist, rich or poor, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to appreciate someone's passion for wanting to uplift the community. While Haleakala was truly a spectacular, you don't have to travel from Pittsburgh to enjoy the benefits our parks have to offer. There are over 120 state parks and conservation areas in Pennsylvania, and 30 parks right here in the greater Pittsburgh region. Safeguarding these places does require some sacrifice, but your presence here today demonstrates your willingness to support our efforts. Through the Student Conservation Association, I've been able to combine my passion for the environment, urban youth, and a healthy lifestyle by working on the Appalachian Trail from Ohio to Maine, restoring portions of Allegheny National Forest, and serving as a National Park Centennial Volunteer Ambassador at Natural Streets Parkway. If you take a look around today, there are a handful of young people who also care deeply about our natural and cultural resources. And we must work together to continue moving people outdoors. I'm not sure whether it was during my short political career or the various places I visited around the world, but somewhere along the line I learned that actions speaks louder than words. I believe parks can be a place of empowerment for young people. By our actions, we can set an example for moving kids outdoors for a healthier, more active lifestyle and to learn about our wildlife and sustainability. I am here today not because I'm a product of SCA, but because I am SCA. So let's move. Now I would like to welcome Dave J.O., or Jay-Z, from the Department of Interior to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay, and thank you for enduring the elements and powering through your comments. They were great. I moved to Washington, D.C. from Washington State about 3 years ago to do this work, and I was just telling the mayor that when I come to a city and it's raining, I feel really welcome and at home, and you have really exceeded my expectations today. I've never felt more welcome than being here in Pittsburgh. It's my honor to be here today on behalf of our First Lady, Michelle Obama, and the Secretary of the Interior, Sally Jewell, because they care so deeply about two issues. One, the health of our children, and the other one, the health of our planet. They've joined forces in creating the Let's Move Outside initiative. This effort really is focused on 4 pillars to get kids to play, to learn, to serve, and to work outdoors. And basically what we've done is galvanized, our entire department around getting millions of kids active outdoors and connected to nature. Now, that's involved creating some new programs as well as investing more in existing efforts. One of the new programs Jay mentioned is Every Kid in a Park, and the president announced that initiative last year, which basically provides all 4th graders across the country and their families free passes for 1 year to all federally managed lands that are fee collecting. And then the other program that at the other end of the continuum on the work side that we're investing more in is bringing back the Civilian Conservation Corps for the 21st century and really building and investing more in organizations like the Student Conservation Association that Jay represents and creating more work opportunities for young people as well as returning veterans in our public lands. And then God said, "Let there be light." So we can't do this alone. We've got the Park Service involved and Bureau of Indian Affairs and Fish and Wildlife, but we needed really strong partners. So the first partner that we got in creating this national movement was the YMCA of the USA. Ys are in 2,700 communities across the country, and the YMCA of Greater Pittsburgh is one of those stellar organizations led by Kevin that really made you stand out above many, many other cities across the country. And then the other partner that we got is a private partner. We needed additional funding. Government can't do this work alone. And American Express came in with a $5 million donation because they really care about preserving our natural resources, our historical culture, and also volunteerism. So with that, we basically are creating a national movement, picking 50 cities that we're going to focus on, invest in, and build on the great work that you're doing. And it's my honor today to say that Secretary Jewell has selected Pittsburgh as a priority city. So let's move outside Pittsburgh. There were a lot of criteria that we considered in selecting the cities, but I would argue the most important one is strong local leadership. And you have a mayor who is an advocate for kids, a champion for parks. He's working here locally, but also on a coalition, on a national coalition, Mayors for Parks, that's advocating for funding and support of city parks across the country. He is really committed toward getting all of Pittsburgh to play, learn, serve, and work in your parks. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to your mayor, Bill Patuto.
Thanks, David. It's an honor that Pittsburgh has been selected as one of the 50 cities. I don't know if you know, but last week we had a little announcement. We'll actually be signing some paperwork next week, but we are going to be creating the largest park in our city's history, 660 acres, one of the largest parks to be created in the United States in the past 30 years. So that will add on to our legacy. Right. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. You know, these things don't happen without partnerships, and the type of partnerships that we're creating now in the city really sort of put to the front of the line the priority of our beautiful amenities that we have within this city. And anybody who's here who basically has a heart of a conservationist, at some point in your life when you were a child, some part or some project or somebody was able to make an introduction for you. And a lot of times that happens more in suburban areas than in urban areas. And that's why we have to do more in order to create those types of opportunities for youth, especially our youth that live in the city of Pittsburgh. When you get that opportunity at a young age, it lights a passion, and it becomes part of what you become later in life. I'm looking over here at Sean Brady. Sorry, Sean, to embarrass you. But, you know, I had that opportunity early in life, and then I started lost it, and I moved next door to this guy in the 90s. And every weekend he'd say, hey, we're going to go canoeing this weekend. You want to go? Hey, we're going on a camping trip next weekend. You want to be a part of it? Hey, you want to? And I would always say yes, because at some part in my early childhood, I had somebody who, and others, that were able to ignite that passion, and then meeting people later and sharing that passion. And I can say we're in our 50s now, at least I'm in my 50s, and we still go canoeing and we still go camping, and it's still part of our life. And that's what we're doing now. We're getting these kids, and we're putting them, and we're giving them the opportunity to be in our parks. It's a win-win on so many different ways. And at the same time, we're igniting that passion, and it will be something that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. And you know what it will do? It will benefit the city of Pittsburgh. And that smoky city image will be replaced by that green city. And that's the direction that we're headed. And because of the partnerships that have been built, we're able to do that. I also have to call out a couple people. Betty Cruz, who is over here, who we now have the capacity within the mayor's office to actually take on these initiatives, and who lobbied hard for us with the National League of Cities to make Pittsburgh one of those cities. And the folks behind me in the blue, we've got park rangers now in the city of Pittsburgh. We didn't have park rangers 2 years ago. We now have a park ranger system because of our foundation community that understands this importance. So not only are we going to be able to accept this, but we're going to be able to take it and lead this country. So thank you, and please thank the secretary. It's my honor to also thank the YMCA and our new great executive director, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, David, for being here, and for everyone else who's here also. As the last person, or one of the last speaking before everybody has to go back out into the torrential storm, I'll try to keep it pretty quick. We're excited to be a part of this partnership. We're excited to have the opportunity to work with the city. We've been doing a lot through Betty and through the city to really try to advance the work that is good for the city. As we look ahead to the work that's out there, everything that's related to this program is all about getting kids active and getting kids out and getting kids away from screens, getting kids the opportunity to do things where they're just going out and being fun and having activity in the community and actually serving the community. We're very happy to see all the smiling faces that we have up here, because these are the people who are actually doing a lot of the great work. So being a part of this is very much in line with what the YMCA is all about getting kids active, getting kids involved, getting kids volunteering. Volunteerism has been such a big part of the Y's history over the years, and we're very happy when I look at all of our peers, our YMCA peers across the country who are also tying into this work, to be able to have a part in that whole process of uniting and forging this kind of volunteer network across the country that are going to be all about getting kids outdoors, getting kids moving around, and getting kids to have fun. And so, finally, I'd also like to thank American Express for making this whole thing happen nationally. This is big work. And we always require and need partners who can help us to do this great thing, and need dedicated residents of the community who can help to support it as well. So thank you all for coming out. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, it looks like the rain has stopped. So I am now going to, well, this concludes the morning session, and I would like to invite everyone to follow the lady in green over there. We are going to do a community service project that involves mulching, and so I asked everybody to follow her green shirt. Thank you.